Welcome back to another episode of Scryer's Room. I am your host, Fanfare.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mario.
And today we're going to talk about a weird anime by the name of Gleipnir, I believe what it's called.
The important part is that you'll know it by it starting with a G, ending with a nr, because frankly, I've heard it pronounced every different way, and I'm too stupid to remember which one's correct.
What matters is that it features a girl piloting a man who turns into a fursuit. And I have some mixed feelings about this.
All right. So, before we get too far in the judgment train, the premise is aliens, right? So they reach such post-scarcity that they're truly immortal and all-powerful, and they lived perfect, immortal, all-powerful lives on their planet until one day they couldn't live there anymore. They had to fuck off, and most of them were pretty depressed and sad and bored because they were perfect, all-powerful, immortal beings. So they figured out a way to condense their souls and beings into, like, super fine points in the form of, like, a coin. And then this ship crashes on Earth. So one of these aliens, who's not a coin, starts telling people, hey, if you find any of those coins out in the woods where my ship blew up, he doesn't tell them about the ship, then put it in the machine, and it'll grant you a little wish. Won't that be cool? Right? So the main character, his wish, evidently, turned him into a mascot suit that... It's implied that this is like a property in this universe. Like, this is like a mascot for an actual place. He turns into it. It's sort of like if he turned into actually Chuck E. Cheese.
My favorite part is that it also gives you a gun.
Yeah,
he just has this comically large pistol.
Yeah, he has a giant ass little revolver, like you know, the little tiny snub nose.
It just respawns every time he transforms.
Yep.
God bless.
And to reach his full to actually have powers rather than just being a big goofy mascot suit, somebody needs to get in the suit. And the younger sister of a girl who he has a mysterious past with ends up partnering up with him. She crawls inside him. It's highly sexualized moment because it's, you know, our bodies are becoming one. Get naked before you put me on.
I hate.
But it's also about other stuff, okay?
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
Okay, so there are a lot of anime that I'm extremely fond of that I won't stan. Like, I won't ever really talk about it or be, oh, dude, I love that show.
Right.
Because by saying that, I'm pretty sure I get put on a list.
Right.
And I can think of no greater example.
Yeah,
that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
This is one of those anime, Gleipnir, whatever the fuck it's called. If you like rep that, if your profile picture is that stupid mascot thing, I'm pretty sure they put you on a list.
Definitely.
And you know what they definitely put you on a list for? Made in Abyss.
Yeah.
Made in Abyss.
And they're right to.
Yeah, no, the guy who made in Abyss.
He's a complicated individual.
And yeah, we brought this up on a previous episode, but like lolicons are kind of a problem at times. Like, I'm really trying not to shame folks, and like, you're into what you're into, but like, when the de facto punishment in that setting is to tie up children while they're naked, and specifically like
until they piss all over you.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure what did he mean.
That sounds like we made up a weird pedophile thing. In fact, he did.
He did. That's on him!
And then in a bunch of interviews keeps saying weird pedophile shit. And it's really hard to be like, no, he doesn't mean it like that. He's just, I don't know, mentally ill. But look at all this other cool stuff that he made. It's...
Yeah.
And like,
especially when the robot boy is meant to capture the sexiness of Astro Boy.
The sexy vulnerability.
Yeah, his fucking words.
I know. I remember that vividly because I read that and I'm like, no. And then I looked it up and that's a pretty direct, like, that's exactly what he said. And then I sent it to everybody because I'm like, there's a different way to read this, right? And everyone said, no, Kevin, it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's not a good look. And, like, I have a pretty deep fondness for, Nanachi from that. The fucking bunny rabbit creature.
Yeah.
Because I used a pog of them in, like, a frilly dress for Lagatha during that one D&D campaign.
Yeah.
Which I am basing my novel off of. So, like, you know, it's not a very far reach that when I'm working on my novel, I do end up thinking about Made in Abyss. So this horrible... I don't want to say it's a horrible anime, because it's not a horrible anime, but it's just problematic.
True facts, it's not a horrible anime. In terms of the quality of what an anime is, it's good, in fact.
Yeah.
It has an interesting story, good concepts, a vivid world, characters people care about. It's able to elicit good, strong emotional reactions. And then also, there's some weird pedophile shit sometimes.
It's like a tax you have to pay to be able to enjoy this thing.
And then everything Kevin just said, but Gleipnir, and replace pedophile stuff with your wearing your boyfriend as a fursuit.
Yeah. I don't know enough. So, full disclosure to everybody, I don't know a lot about all the different kinds of porns. I know some of the ones that I think are funny, and I know some of the classics that everyone knows about, or everyone should know about. I don't know if putting a dude on is a fetish.
I could see it being an extension of Vor. I could see it being... I mean, it's kind of a stretch, but like...
Well, the problem with that is that with Vor, I feel like the one doing the eating has, like, the power... Whereas in this, he's getting piloted like a Gundam.
What a fucking weird thing, man.
Because he's like a bitchy nerd type.
Yeah.
And then only when the badass, like, doesn't take no shit girl puts him on does he reach his full potential, because he's not doing anything.
Ironically, like, so I've read all of this. I read the whole series. It ended evidently like a while back, and I didn't know about it because I stopped, like, checking updates for a while because, you know. And I finished it, and what I found out is that there's actually a really good second anime series disguised as the backstory. So you see, in reality, everything that happens in the series is right on the heels of, well, when the alien ship first crashed, the main character and his group of actual friends, who all had really individual character designs and powers that they got, they went and met the alien and got powers and were trying to collect these coins. And he and his girlfriend worked in, like, a perfect unity between the two of them. And she would wear him still, but, like, it was like they were partners, and it was clear that, like, he was actually really competent and confident back then. And then, because of some very stupid teenage shit, they accidentally created a monster with no soul and infinite power, and the only one who can really stop it is the main character, but they didn't want to put that on him, so they erased his memories, and I guess left him to live as, like, a beta cuck idiot for a couple of years, because at the start of the story, that's what he is. He is, like...
Also, his family's dead.
Yeah, all of them. And then the reason that, like, the girl that actually finds him, like, that is the main character girl, the reason she does everything is because she's like, hey, you used to know my sister. And he's like, I don't know any girls. Because they erased his memory and made him horrible. And he was... the implication that I took away is they were already, like, they were fucking. Like, that older sister was his long-term girlfriend. And then girlfriend's sister disappears, so main character girl comes up like, you used to know my sister. And then they have their little bond, and everything's very sexual when it's those two. But whenever they go to the backstory, everything is as clean and, like, obviously, like, when the younger sister gets into him, it's like, oh, I can feel you inside me. When the older sister was getting into him, it was like activating the Gundam. Or Ava Unit 1 online, and the head like, and the eyes like, pew, and they're just into combat. Effective ending of demons and aliens and shit. And then, because of reasons, he got wished into, like, now it's a weird sexual thing.
I hate this. I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
So he made like a prequel with the same guy, but then wiped his memories.
So
You find out about this.
you
like,
find out
later
this is
on.
like his backstory that you find out like sprinkled here and there throughout the story. You find out like, oh, the reason he has these powers isn't because of this thing. It was actually because he had his powers a while ago with the older sister.
Yeah.
And then, oh, actually he had a whole other adventure with them, and then they erased his memory because they. You find it all out through backstory, but really that's what the story should have been.
Yeah.
It was like there was like another show that happened, and then it's just like, and this is what happened after that. Like, because it's like it was like a plucky teen show, and then like they like murders did happen, and now it's like now it's sad.
Yeah. So like the main villain of the thing, we're told, is this guy who like has control over giant insectoid monsters that he can just like create out of nothingness and turn all the like the land into, and even his body. So like even when you blow his head off, his like bugs just form into a new him, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. He's a really good bad guy. And then you find out he's not the bad guy. It's actually, so funny story, when we all got superpowers, things went a little bit wacky, and people were getting crushes and fucking each other because we're teenagers. And then we got two people oopsie-doopsie mixed up with seeing something happen, and a girl killed herself.
Brutal.
So then he tried to wish her back to life with alien omnipotent powers. However, turns out, because of oopsie-doopsie fucky-wucky, the girl that killed herself wasn't the dead girl. You see, the girl that killed herself was actually in disguise or another girl was in disguise as her at the time. It's a complicated oopsie-doopsie fucky-wucky soap opera problem. And then because he brought back a person who didn't need to be brought back, essentially, the aliens made a body, that the only way they know how, an omnipotent super body, and it has no soul. So all it craves is souls. And his job was always throwing bugs at her forever on the mountain so that she wasn't going out there eating everyone's souls. So at the end of the story, the way they resolve all of this is they're like, it doesn't got to be that way. And she's like, maybe you're right. And then this other guy who got cucked by the main character, whose power is having a camera for a head, steals all the alien souls and turns into a soul-eating monster as well. And they beat him up.
Roll credits?
Roll credits. Well, technically after that, the main character faked his death and was a baker for a summer. And then the girl found him and is like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm in hiding. People were supposed to think I'm dead. And she's like, we got fucking Avengers shit to do. There's still alien stuff out there. And he's like, the cops know about the aliens now. Let them deal with it. And she's like, congratulations. We are the cops now. And then they do the Rocky thing, what is it, Predator, where they do the bicep.
Yeah, Predator.
Yeah.
Classic scene. Yeah, that I hate that. I don't like it. I'm glad I didn't watch it. I'm glad I didn't bother.
Obviously, I'm not doing it justice to its actual quality. However, I don't think it's something you particularly have any.
Yeah, I don't have a dog on that race.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say I love Gleipnir, but that was, that was a good couple of, like Friday nights where I was just like,
sure, this might as well
throw
get
this
some
dumb
time.
shit on.
Fuck, man. I haven't watched like any anime in a while, man. I used to be a fanatic. I still pay for Crunchyroll too, so that's but I'm sure other people in my network still use it.
Yeah.
And then it's good to have when I want to watch Gundam again. I will be watching Gundam soon.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping they put like Victory Gundam on there eventually, because that's one of the last ones I have yet to see of the Universal Century.
Oh. Have you finished Arcane?
No, and I'm not going to. Anga Bunga.
Yes, you are, but not now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So evidently there was some award thing, I think it was the Video Game Awards, and they gave like awards even to like video game adaptations of things. And everyone thought Arcane was definitely going to win the adaptation award. But Fallout, that series won.
That's fair.
Which is fine. But I had no dog in this race, but I did find one person's opinion very funny. They were talking to everybody who's mad about Arcane not winning. It's not a good sign for anyone to win anything if the most glowing review you can give to somebody to get like a newcomer to watch it is, no, it's really good. It's nothing like the game.
Yeah, no, dude, yeah. 100%. 100%. Also, like, I distinctly remember saying, when the Fallout show was pitched to me, and I saw that it was out, and we have a lot of bad video game adaptations. It happens a lot. We've mentioned Dragon Age, and how that just did not go too well.
Yeah.
On the Netflix show. Yeah, you should not check it out. But I remember sitting down to watch the first episode and kind of grumbling to myself, this is probably going to be terrible, but if we get at least like a glimpse of power armor and they do a decent job with it, I guess the show will be okay. I'll call it a success. And then episode 1, we get to see the Brotherhood of Steel, and these walking tanks just stomp up to the hangar. I was rock hard, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I was
one of the 3 main characters is a power armor man.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, man. Not only did they do this justice, they went above and beyond with this shit. This is fucking amazing. This is so cool. And then when he's, like, interrogating the fucking, the Scryer, and, like, his deep power armor voice comes in, he's like, speak! Like, bro, I was fucking in it. Yeah, so, I mean, I enjoyed the other aspects. I've only seen the pilot still, because I just do not watch TV like I used to. But, I very much enjoyed the pilot. I thought all the characters were done well. And usually scenes, like when like massacres and stuff happen, I get pretty triggered if it's live action. They did a good job of making the Raiders killing all the Vault people very slapstick. I was very impressed by this. It was like almost like jovial when they were doing it. It was pretty funny.
Well, I imagine the Raiders were having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. They were, and like they were like making it like slapstick, like people like screaming on and then they like gun them down, but like it would just be silly almost.
Speaking of slapstick things, so I recently caught, because my dad put it on, the part of the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I had a discovery / understanding of one of the things that they've been doing. So Nebula, that character, she's like 99% cyborg. She's almost entirely machine. And so they've shown previously when she gets hit by something, like her bones break and everything, but then they robotically like back in place. And I realized, especially in the third movie, they take advantage of this. They just use her for Tom and Jerry style violence. If Star-Lord gets kicked in the head, he like falls down or like flies off. If she gets kicked in the head, her head gets like bent all sideways and her chest gets caved in a little bit and she falls to the floor, and it's like it's played with all the seriousness of Tom going like ooh, 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 ooh. Like it's
that's a good point. Yeah, slapstick violence,
as if she's not going through tremendous, awful damage.
Yeah, it's like I can almost imagine her like getting like hit by like an oversized mount on the head, and her head just going into her chest and bouncing back out.
Exactly, that's how they treat it.
It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. So I have recently began my journey into the work of Brando Sanderson, and so far so good. I started Mistborn, listened to an audiobook, and yeah, Kelsier's the man.
Yes, I've finally gotten them, audience.
According to other audiobooks, it's supposed to be like Kelsier because it's French.
So
and no one agrees with that. Yeah, well,
so he said that before, where he's like, yeah, technically it's supposed to be a French pronunciation area. But then he also follows that up with like, but I say it wrong too. It's fine. Like I also call him Kelsier.
Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, so it's supposed to be like Kelsier or Kelsier, and then I don't know if you've met the character yet. There's a character Sazed, and his name is supposed to be Sazed, like stuff like that. But no one gives a shit.
Haven't met him yet. No, I'm only like halfway into chapter 3. I'm very early in the book still.
Oh, chapter 3 is where I am. I've only been able to actually make myself read it when I've been taking his music classes. Please bleep his name.
Yeah.
I've only been able to take it, read it there, and it's it's public, so I'm obviously not doing like my prime good reading where I can concentrate and be fast. But yeah, I've only gotten 3 chapters in, and but yeah, he has us now. We're definitely going to keep going.
Yes.
I really wanted to start with Way of Kings, but literally every single person, including himself, said don't. Just did. Even because this all started because I'm back on the needle, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back on the Warcraft needle. It has
World of Warcraft is an addiction that has torn families apart.
Yes, it has.
For generations now.
Yeah, 20 years and strong. Yeah. And speaking of 20 years, the 20-year anniversary servers are up, and that's what I'm playing on.
Or as I call it, World of Warcraft Again Edition.
Yeah,
because they've to say nothing of when they first released Warcraft, and that was the original and classic version. They then released themselves like, oh, it's now been like 15 years. Do you guys want to play the original version again? That re-release, fine, whatever. And then they did that again and said, no, it's a little bit different this time. And I was like, okay, but now they're just doing it again.
Yeah.
It's completely unbelievable.
And I ate it up. I'm having a great time.
I can't believe that this is a viable business strategy, first of all, but also this addiction is still tearing ass. Because World of Warcraft Classic is a bad game. Go ahead, disagree.
It's a game, all right.
With over 60 levels.
I don't know. Everything just matters more, and there's an appeal to that. But I will spare Mario of our Warcraft talk.
I don't support this addiction. All right.
I only bring it up.
If you or a loved one is suffering from World of Warcraft for addiction, resurgence, or God forbid the retail addiction,
oh man,
please find anything else to do.
I don't know how many times I've said it before, about how many times they've said to me, "Oh, I'm done with WoW." Yeah, terrible game. Not playing it. And every time it's roll my eyes, like, yeah, okay.
A likely story.
I'll believe you this time, I guess.
Fool me 11 or more times.
Nah. You just go, yeah, sure. And it's only a matter of time before it's just like, got me again.
In my defense,
oh, wow.
In my defense, I was trying to get back into Guild Wars 2, but just no one wants to play with me. So like none of the folks that I know in my personal life that I can shoot shit with and have a beer with in person, none of them want to play the queer game because not because that it's queer. I just call it that because it's so beautiful. Like, I don't know. It has a very active LGBTQ presence. In fact, they do pride parades every year in the game. It was always super sweet to me. Anyway, but they no one gives a shit about Guild Wars 2, and it makes me sad.
I mean, so years ago now, I basically said, do you want to know when they'll start playing WoW again? It's because Rob, one day, his other friends, doesn't matter who of what group, who have never decided that they're quitting WoW. They've decided to play other things for a little while, but they've never decided to quit in any real capacity. Eventually, they'll get like 3 guys who are all playing at the same time.
Yep.
And that's the critical mass number, because that means that they can almost form a whole party. If they get Rob, that means they only have to pickup group, 1 guy. And then Rob's like, well, if we only have to get 1 extra guy, then I guess I'll join, forgetting the fact that they really needed to get 2 extra guys, one of them being hit. Doesn't matter. And then once Rob is in, well, they have basically a full party. They need to start getting a raid group together. And then that's going to get Tony and a couple of others involved, because they're like, hey, you can just, maybe fill in if you get to level cap, but like no pressure or anything. And that's all they need. It's like chum in the water. They just like, oh, well, if there's a place for me already, then I suppose I should. After all, I love hanging out with my friends in Digital Land, which is good and fine, and you all should as well. However, this is the cycle that propagates itself.
It's exactly what happened. I was the 5th. I'm the 5th.
Yeah.
So they have 4. I'm the 5th. And then they're looking for a raid to do on weekends.
By the way, that means that they had 3 and then told Rob that they had...
Yup. The exact
all
thing,
of this.
The exact thing you said happened. It's an addiction. It's drugs. It's drugs.
Whatever. I can almost look past it as long if you're also listening to Mistborn while you do it. That's fine.
Yeah. So the whole point
of this is World of Warcraft.
And the point of me bringing up my addiction to classic WoW is that fucking leveling up is so monotonous, and going back to what Kevin said, how the game is bad. It's not bad. It's just different. It's archaic for sure, and a lot of it is boring and monotonous. So like, a lot of the time I'm killing now, I'm listening to various things. I took Brandon Sanderson's little online course on YouTube. He teaches a course at BYU, and he posts the lectures online for free.
Yeah, BYU, a.k.a. Mormon University.
Yeah, it sounds like a lovely little university. But, he posts the lectures on the Interbutts for free, so I watched the 2020 version. It's funny because around episode 9, you can tell
the class starts getting a little sparse because something happened in the world to change how everything was done.
Well, it was the first few were him sitting in a lecture hall, and then basically someone was recording him standing and doing the lecture, and you could kind of hear the people talking. He would repeat their questions though, so you could hear people at home. And then I guess went to him being on a whiteboard and clearly in his house, and it's like, oh, the thing happened. So.
I love being able to point out when the thing happened.
It's an interesting thing that we live through, but
she's got a lot of good things that he talks about. But one of my favorites is how he talks about how fights in novels just aren't real. That's not how. And then the way he describes how shield and sword fights would actually go is you put your shield up. And then you swing your sword and bang, 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 bang until the other guy's dead.
Yeah, It's cinematic is an interesting concept because we take a lot of liberties.
Yeah, and he's and that's really boring, so we don't write it that
Never.
way.
I mean, frankly, what kills if when we're talking about fully armored knights, a fully armored warrior, the way that they die is either an arrow gets them, or 10 guys with 2, 3, or 4 daggers between them. Just pile on top of him and just jam it in there.
There's a movie called The King starring my boy crush Timothée Chalamet, or whatever his name is. And he... that movie's about him being...
Oh, yeah, with
Prince
Robert
of England.
Pattinson.
Yeah, I forget what
it is, but... It's based off a Shakespeare play of... Oh my god. Well, never mind. I thought that I was going to be it's about this, Tony.
Well, you said Robert Pattinson?
Yeah. Robert Pattinson is the other king that he has to fight.
Is he really? I didn't pick that up.
That's because Robert Pattinson is secretly a really good actor.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, so...
Not secretly. Twilight made it a problem. He's a really good actor, and I enjoy his work.
Yeah, he fucking... This is just like Tom Cruise being Les Grossman, where I was like, that is Tom Cruise. Huh. Someone had to point it out to me before. I was like, oh, wow, I guess I just don't know who that actor is, and I didn't really care. Yeah, but...
They're really good, whoever this bit player is.
Yeah, but in The King, they do a very good job of showing how gritty and horrible, fighting like that is.
Yeah.
One of the opening scenes is a duel between, Timothée Chalamet's character and just this, rebelling lord. And they both have, I think technically the term would be long swords, or maybe even, they might be bastard swords, but they're basically fighting, and it's mostly the swords clanging off each other's armor, but doing, bruise concussion damage. Mm. And then, he basically gets lucky and just slips it under his throat and just gets his ass. And it's, so not satisfying of a death. It's just oh man, that ugh. And then at the end...
He died like a real guy. That's actually really puts me off my popcorn.
Yeah, and at the end, big spoilers here, the enemy king goes to duel him because they basically lured them into a trap. And the trap was that they knew it was going to rain, so they know all the fucking Frank soldiers were in full plate, and they're just going to slip in their armor. We're going to take our armor off and use our mobility to just fucking murder them. And then so the guy tries to fight him, and he keeps slipping in the mud, and he falls on his back, and you're like a turtle. When you're a knight in full plate, you're like a turtle. And then a few dudes just pile on him, and with daggers just to stab him to death. It was oh wow, that's that's how it goes.
Those were the days.
But we usually tell cooler stories of chivalry in Arthurian legend.
Listen, the reason that we have fights in stories isn't because people fight all the time. There are tons of stories where there's no necessity for fighting at all. We have fights in stories because we need a physical manifestation of a metaphorical conflict, which has to do with character motive and the theme that these characters represent. And no one would pay any attention to that if Luke didn't have a laser sword.
Yeah, it's all pageantry at the end of the day.
Which, man, a movie that has a lot of really cinematic fights. Was it 13 Assassins?
13 Assassins is a movie.
I don't remember.
The Japanese one.
I don't know. I'm not ringing any bells. I don't think I've seen it.
Basically, a bunch of Japanese dudes who are trying to assassinate a horrible, corrupt lord, basically. But I love it at the end is after all they have these crazy fucking fights. Yes, I believe they booby trapped an entire town. It's just really fun. But then at the very very end, this guy and then there's another samurai and he serves the lord because that's his lord. He doesn't like what he does, but it's honor and all that shit. And then the other guy is just we were always equals in when we sparred in the dojo and shit, but I'm not here to do that. And he just kicks mud in his face and then just slits his throat basically. Yeah.
Fucking brutal.
Which is it's
we didn't come here to find out who's the better swordsman. We came here to kill you.
Yeah, that'll do it. A lot will do it.
There was a thing I was reading. This just tangentially reminded me. By the way, I need to watch that movie. It only came out in 2010. I was thinking of a different, older movie.
Really good movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
Ninja. Where does that word come from?
I feel like it's Americanized.
Well, here's the thing, Tony. It isn't. Ninja is actually such an old and obscure word that basically everywhere that there was ninjas were ninjas. Were ninja? Plurality? Doesn't matter. Everywhere what ninjas were, have that word and say no, it's part of our speech. It's one of those words that we can't agree on where it came from.
Really?
Yeah. So, the reason I looked this up is because in certain films in pretty much everything that came out before 2005, if somebody was Asian of any kind, that means they were Asian of every kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll have samurai and kung fu.
They were Oriental.
They're Oriental, yeah.
Yeah.
They still say things. They still have Siam, which hasn't been a country in, I don't know, it feels like 600 years. Well, when was The King and I? But so we were watching an older action movie at my house, and the villains and everything were Chinese. And I am a fucking dork. So when I think that they're doing a specific culture, I in my head hold the movie accountable to being sort of accurate, which is a dorky thing to do because people don't like it. And so when they sent Ninja out, I was like, I don't think that's right. And I looked into it. Turns out Ninja, Chinese also have it. Both Mongolia and Taiwan, Tibet, all of these areas all say oh no, we had Ninja. Oh no, we had Ninja. Oh no, we had Ninja. Not since I believed it to be a Japanese thing. There'd be a different word for it in different areas, but ninjas actually comes from all these areas, apparently. Now, what I did find out that the movie got wrong was that they didn't hire any Chinese people to play the Chinese. And I don't mean that in the way that, people will sometimes split hairs. The ethnic difference between, this is a Chinese character, but that's a Taiwanese actor. That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is that these were all Italian and Mexican men.
Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah, baby.
Oh.
I would have even been okay, get some Pacific Islanders in there, even a Samoan to be the big guy, not a Chinese, Asian, Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
None of it. They were no, It'll be easier.
Spaghetti westerns used to have a lot of Italians to play Native Americans too.
Yeah, the famous the littering the Native American from all the littering things. Where he has a single teardrop. That's just a Mexican guy.
Yeah.
Or you get John Wayne to play Genghis Khan.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When?
Was it Attila the Hun? One of those.
Either of them, man.
I mean, yeah, it's bad. I just, I'm trying to be accurate.
Yeah, but it was John Wayne, definitely.
So I heard John Wayne is like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes it even funnier to me. Like, I want to play the worst guy ever because I'm the worst guy
Imagine
ever.
He was.
He's just in a Fu Manchu, basically.
Yeah.
Not even doing an accent.
They gave him winged eyeliner, too.
Like, he just talks like John Wayne.
Yeah.
Like, it's
We're gonna get
it's really bad.
we're gonna get on our horses and fire, Pilgrim.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
What?
And this is considered a classic
What
film.
movie is this?
Either Attila the Hun or Genghis Khan
Yeah,
is the
that's-
title.
It's just called that?
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm gonna look it
How
up.
did I not
because
know
we don't.
this?
I want to say it's Genghis Khan. I could be wrong, though.
That's fucking loony. Who directed this?
Probably John Wayne.
Oh, man.
So it's called The Conqueror. A mighty Mongol warrior kidnaps the daughter of a powerful Tartar king and seizes control of his empire. The battle pales in comparison with Temujin's home life as he attempts to woo the heart of his prisoner. Now let's get into some pictures here so that you can see all the effort that went into disguising Cowboy Man John Wayne.
So bad.
Oh, my fucking God.
Yeah. It reminds me of like when you see extras in a film and you're not supposed to zoom in on them, and then you zoom in on one and you see a guy who like you can see in his face that like he knows about NASCAR and meth.
Loop back to Ninjas, though. There's
man.
Oh yeah, back to
You guys familiar with Canon films?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Dolph Lundgren's He-Man.
I love Canon films. They're so bad.
Yeah.
Which that's one of the ones I made them watch. The Dolph Lundgren He-Man Masters of the Universe.
I already watched it. My father also is a big fan of canon
Okay,
films.
good. Terrible movie. You should watch it.
Oh yeah.
They also they like to do things with ninjas.
Yeah.
So they have this horrible movie. I don't even remember why. It was just on TV, I think, one time, and
That's all you need.
I just decided to watch it, and it's about like a Japanese like dojo man or something. Like his family owns a dojo or something in America,
Right.
and they're like being like extorted by the mob, and then there's like a guy who's not part of either group, who's just like some white dude who basically towards the end of the movie tells the mob like, don't fuck with the Japanese.
Right.
They'll fuck your shit up, basically, because they're Japanese. And then, which Dojo Man is actually a badass. Like, yeah, he does fuck dudes up. But the whole thing, like, the mobsters are in like a building, like they're like headquarters or whatever the fuck. And there's just a ninja who's just stealthing around and murdering everybody.
God bless.
And then simultaneously, Dojo Man is stealthing around to try to like combat this other ninja man and
he
also
has to do
get
it
back at the
secret.
mob.
Right.
And then we find out that this secret ninja was just that white guy.
Oh.
He secretly was a ninja somehow. I guess he just studied in Japan how to be a ninja.
Bruce Wayne.
And then they have a ninja fight. That's, I don't know. It's wildly dumb movie. I just thought it was very funny that the mob is like terrified of like a singular ninja man who's just like just taking them all out systematically.
So
It's very funny.
that reminded me. So there's a great webcomic made by a very talented man called Dr. McNinja.
Yes, sir.
The premise of it is that he is a ninja and he is a doctor.
Ethnically.
He's ethnically a ninja, but he by choice of his schooling, has become a doctor. And he takes care of all the crazy problems. Like, I think one of the first problems that he encounters is that a kid is infected with Paul Bunyanism. They're turning into a Paul Bunyan.
Just a giant lumberjack.
But
okay.
One of the plot points, one of the villains in this story, is that there is a Dolph Lundgren style man who, in the 80s, made a bunch of movies about beating up ninjas, generally. He was an action hero in the 80s. And then part of the plot of the story is you find out that those movies are all based off of, like, semi-real events, the ninja wars of the 80s, which obviously you haven't heard about. They're ninjas.
That's a good bit.
But in my head, all the taglines that this guy came up with for these movies live in my head forever because I think they're really funny. One of them was they call this Dolph Lundgren man the last white dragon.
Oh, that's good.
I thought that was very funny. But one of the taglines that he wrote was, this summer, these ninjas get a little Danish in their mouth, but only his foot.
Dumb.
That made me think of when you said, like, of course you haven't heard about this. They're ninjas.
Yeah.
What's like one of the earliest Onion videos?
Oh, the Ninja Parade?
Ninja Parade.
Yeah.
And everyone's so happy.
Every year I take the kids out to try to see the ninjas, and we never do.
It's so great. Like, they're so stealthy.
The kids love coming out to not see them. It's great.
Yeah, dude. Then the little boy is just like, a ninja snuck up behind me and put this candy in my pocket.
God
such a
bless.
good bit.
That's a very good bit. No, one theory I had about... So I'm vaguely familiar that the idea that ninjas was not exclusive to Japan. Mm-hmm. Because I know, like, in actual history, one of the hurdles Genghis Khan had to go through to establish the Mongol dynasty, or the Mongol Empire, rather, was they had to beat the Hashashin. Mm. And so he did that around, like, 13th century, I believe. So to my understanding, that kind of organization, which had been, like, centered somewhere in the Middle East, had to, like, fuck off somewhere. Mm-hmm. And one of the theories I heard is that when they were basically steamrolled by the Mongols, they fucked off the different corners of the East, and that's why so many different ethnic groups all around the same time just had boom ninja, because that's where the idea of, like, assassin comes from. And that sort of, like, guerrilla fighting warfare. It's a non-zero chance they basically spread out and disseminated more of their techniques and tactics, and therefore there's, like, a shared history between them. Between, like, some going to India, some going to fucking Japan, some settling in China, wherever. So I thought that was an interesting theory that I heard before.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. But, no, it is funny how, like, that's just, like, a cultural phenomena of, like the shadowy assassin fighter man. Yeah. I know in Japanese culture specifically, like the headbands and stuff, I believe they're specifically referring to the Iga. There were like two guerrilla warfare.
So most of the visuals that we have of ninja having like armor or any specific things to them come from the Iga, yeah.
Yeah, because I know Oda steamrolled them. They were mountain folk, and they were doing a lot of guerrilla tactics, and then he did a scorched earth on them, basically. Because he was the Demon King in the Seven Heavens or whatever.
They got some cool titles over there.
They do.
We have lame titles.
Yeah, we have very lame titles.
We don't even call Abraham Lincoln, like, the Liberator or anything.
No.
He's just Abe Lincoln.
Honest Abe.
Honest Abe, we call him, because we're dorks.
Yeah, God bless, man.
Which... Japanese ninjas. You guys know that allegedly, like, the Naruto, like, soldier pills were, like, kind of real?
Yeah.
Do what now?
They had ninja food balls.
Yeah. So
allegedly, because the people have tried to make them with the recipe given in like the ninja text or whatever.
And it's highly poisonous.
Well, it's just like as described. It's like they just don't hold together because it's just like mostly like sugar, and then they're supposed to be. People haven't done like the true recipe because you're supposed to store them in wine for like 2 years or something.
Oh man,
or sake, but they're basically just like little carbohydrate balls. And that was their
Just Charlie's
field
energy
rations,
balls,
supposedly.
Just super calorie ball.
Yeah.
It was basically
That
just,
adds up.
it was mostly just sugar.
Yeah.
And so it'd just be like you'd eat like a couple of them, and then you're just good for a little bit.
Your brain won't fail you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because, especially when you're talking about like field rations and stuff, they're 4 different things. Like your body doesn't necessarily need every kind of thing that you need for like survival in the field. If you're being an assassin and you need to always be aware of your environment and everything, you need your brain to work way more than you need to be shitting regularly.
Yeah. I know the brain can function basically purely off sugar.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
You mean the rest of you will start to atrophy and shit, but yeah, you don't. To survive, you don't need a lot of the other shit.
Try to catch a squirrel or something. Do they have squirrels? Yeah, they have squirrels in Japan.
How do you think a raccoon dog tastes?
Bad.
Not great.
Yeah, right.
Probably.
I feel like it wouldn't taste good.
I mean,
Otherwise, we'd heard about it.
Well, the problem is that I base that off of my understanding that scavengers and predators both taste bad to eat. That's why we don't eat them generally.
Yeah.
But then I immediately realized I don't know, like, enough about raccoon dogs.
I don't know shit about them.
Apparently, they're.
I know that they're neither raccoons nor dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
And they're cute as buttons.
I might be getting this wrong, but it's like they're less related to raccoons and more related to like foxes or something.
Yeah. We're going to look it up.
I'd
We're going
buy
to look
that.
up do people
I'd buy
eat these
that.
things.
Yeah, look it up real quick. I recently learned rabbits are not rodents. They used to be considered rodents, but the I don't remember what part of the taxonomic level this is. I want to say it's not the kingdom. Their phylum is Lagomorphia, or no. Big complicated words, but they used to be considered rodents, but now they're lagomorphs. There's also, I think, Leoporid is the other one of the other taxonomic classifications for them. But yeah, I told this to my mom because I told my mom, I was like, he's a rodent. Like my Bubba Amadeus, he's a rodent. She's like, he's not a rodent. My Bubbas aren't rodents, because she really hates rat tails. She really thinks that she fucking hates them. I was gonna get pet rats. And that was one of the reasons I chose not to, was because my mom fucking hates their tails. She's like, gross, does not like it at all. And so I called my rabbit Amadeus a rodent, and she was like, no, he's not a rodent. You need to look that up. And then I did, and yeah, she was right. They're not rodents. They're not considered rodents anymore. So they are lagomorphs. Which I already knew that they were called lagomorphs. I have a lot of puns based off that, for all my D&D bunny characters.
So they're eaten sometimes in China as a delicacy, but that doesn't...
Yeah, dude, they'll eat anything, man.
I was going to say that doesn't mean anything because, for one, like, you can put, does China eat this thing as a delicacy? And you almost always get at least one thing saying yes, because, one, they eat a lot of stuff over there. It's kind of like saying, like, do Americans eat weird things? Yeah, we eat weird shit. But then also... people are just going to be like, yeah, they eat that over there. So that doesn't mean anything. But people definitely hunt them for fur. And apparently it's cheaper to use their fur than synthetic fur. So it is often misrepresented as being like, oh, no, this is completely like vegan fur. You can have this and not feel bad. And it specifically was one of God's cutest creatures.
So are they like a plague over there? Because it sounds like they're killing them willy-nilly and they just keep coming back.
They do. There is quite a lot of oh my goodness. The common raccoon dog comprises 11% of all animals hunted in Japan.
God damn, those are some real numbers.
That's, yeah.
1 out of 10 guys is just one.
1
of the
in
raccoon
10
dogs?
things killed by a hunter is a raccoon.
That's fucking crazy. So they must be a scourge.
Yeah.
Like, they must reproduce like crazy. That's crazy to me. I know. They're probably like. But they're not even close to being the same species as the raccoon. I was gonna say they might be like our trash pandas, because there's a billion trash pandas.
They also so they live in the mainland as well. So they're in Finland and China and Japan.
I didn't know they were in Finland.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. How'd they get to Finland? Maybe they were always there. I don't know.
Maybe they got introduced over there. We're not going to go into the history of the raccoon dog.
Yeah.
Tanukis are very cute, though, and you should Google it. But also, try to remember that if we look back far enough into anybody's folklore, you're going to see a lot of dicks and balls involved. We used to be frickin' cavemen.
Well,
So
Japanese specifically.
So ignore the balls stuff when you look them up.
Yeah, the fucking... Is it a Miyazaki film where they do that, or no?
No, that's just folklore.
That's the
They fly using their testicles.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which-
Yeah.
I believe they've changed it now, but if you play Super Mario 3
Yep.
and you get the Tanuki suit,
Oh,
the way
man.
he's flying, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
His ass in the
man. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I had no idea.
The important thing.
Culture is so beautiful.
Yeah. That's the word for it.
Listen, okay?
Fuck.
The important thing is that they're very cute.
Yeah, they are. They are very damn cute.
But I'd probably try one.
Yeah, I'd try one. 100%. You know,
I mean...
Yeah?
There's so many animals that, like...
Ah, my fucking thing fell.
Do you want to take a break real fast?
Yeah, hold up.
Alright. I feel like I would eat almost any kind of animal, provided that, like, I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, if you could feed me, like, a dog, like dog flesh, and I'd be okay with it, so long as you didn't, like, put the collar back on like an asshole. One of the things that I was reading about is, like, using bug proteins and stuff, and there's always talks of, like, how can we, like, you know, improve, like, nutrition and stuff. And, like, eating bugs, everyone has the same visceral response. And I was completely, like, not only is this stupid, but it's never going to work because you're never going to get people to accept eating bugs. And then I found out that, like, oh no, we're not telling people to actually eat, like, whole bugs. That's a terribly inefficient method of getting that nutrition out. What we're going to do is we're going to grind them into a fine powder, and then that's like flour. It's completely, like, you can't detect it at all. And that's what we'll put in the food. And that's like the future of eating bugs. And as soon as they said, like, oh no, you'll never know you're eating bugs, I was like, oh well, then there's no harm, no foul. So long as it's not people, I don't care.
Yeah, no soil and grain.
Yeah.
That's right over the line. I'm not eating other people.
I believe fully in the guy from Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man. His position on eating people is you can't have a society that eats people, otherwise when hard times come, they'll just start eating each other, won't they?
Yeah.
It's a terrible precedent to set that people are also a kind of food. And also that it's bad for your brain and that all sorts of other reasons. But if you serve me up a raccoon dog in, like, spicy chili oil, I might be... You just have to call it, like, the dish name, and I'm, like, there.
God bless.
You could show me the thing's picture, and as long as I never make that connection between, like, oh, that's... Like, hey, look at this raccoon dog. That's adorable. I love cute animals. And here's your food. It's, like, tanuki udon. And I'm like, incredible! A delight for the senses!
Yeah, no, I think I'd eat most things. Can't eat shellfish because it'll kill me, but I'll probably eat most other things.
Right, but that's, like, a whole other reason to not.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't be... I won't eat, like, this is the fugu fish. If it's prepared by anyone besides a master, you'll die pretty quickly and horribly. I probably won't eat that.
Yeah, like the pufferfish stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't trust the chef enough, man.
It's also apparently not very good.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it
Are you
because
serious?
it's dangerous. Yeah.
I mean, some people say it is, but, like, other people say, like, it's actually not. Like, it's got, like, the texture isn't very good, and it...
Well, here's the thing. If there's any doubt on it, like, if somebody can eat it and say anything besides, like, wow, that was incredible, then maybe dying is 0% worth it.
The reason it'll be good is because it's being prepared by a master chef.
Right.
But it's, like, as, like, a fish, you
probably just tastes regular.
Eat some tuna or something.
Right.
It'll be better.
Eat a non-venomous pufferfish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could eat the shit out of some sushi right now.
hell yeah, dude. I miss sushi. There used to be a place.
Yes, back
by where we're recording, called East Moon Asian Bistro, and it was a really good place to eat.
They were incredible. They had happy hours that were.
Well, we're probably one of the reasons they had to shut
Oh,
down.
absolutely, we did that.
Yeah,
Absolutely, we shut them down.
because they had this thing where you could just all you could eat sushi, and unfortunately, Mario here is a bottomless pit. You could just keep throwing it in there.
I didn't eat the sushi though. I don't eat seafood.
But the basil fried rice.
But yeah, they had a lot of noodles, they had a lot of rice, a lot of other things.
the stuff that should fill you up.
So we say all you can eat sushi, but in reality, it was all you can eat of all of their stuff. Basically,
Yeah.
They gave you a little sheet with a bunch of different menu items on there, and then you circled what servings you wanted, and then they would just bring that out to you. But you weren't supposed to waste any food. You had to eat what you were getting,
Right.
and then you couldn't take anything home with you. But like it was like $20 for this.
Yeah,
And
it was unreasonably cheap and
Yeah.
actually really good sushi. Not incredible, but like, oh,
Bang for buck. It was the best sushi.
it was
in
the best
area.
deal for sushi.
You can go to fucking Bento Sushi down by GameStop, but you're paying like, regular sushi prices there, and their sushi isn't that much better than East Moon's was.
Right.
It's better, but it's not that much better. When I can just shovel my face full of fucking raw fish for $20,
God.
we put them out of business.
Which was hilarious because it was maybe one of the last times we went all together. It was us, Rob, pretty sure Matt was there, and then we were all. I was high as shit.
Which Matt? Matt in the Hat?
Yeah,
Matty-Kate?
Uncle Matty. Yeah.
Uncle Matty-Kate. Okay.
And I was sitting across from Kevin,
Yeah,
and it was hilarious to me because if you don't know us,
I'm tremendous.
yeah, compared to Kevin, Tony, and Rob, like I'm a decently sized man, but they each have easily 100 pounds on me, and it's hilarious when
He's
we're all
being very nice to me right now. I really, that made me feel nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of heavy, roughly 180, 200 pounds.
He looks really good, people.
But it's hilarious because as a group, and then we go into a restaurant, and then I eat the most.
By
and large.
by enough of a margin that it's like the amount that he eats more than me is an amount comparable to the amount that he ate. Like everyone's meals could get a second helping, and that's his meal.
It was really funny because Kevin was just watching me in fascination.
In horror.
Yeah, because you hadn't really known Mario too well back
No.
then. Yeah, so Kevin was like watching this man in like aghast.
At first, I was like, yeah. What? Okay, yeah, I bet he's a big eater. Okay.
No one ever believes me.
No, and then we're done, and I have like overeaten, obviously, and then he's like, he's still like putting in orders.
I remember you told me you counted, and you said I ate 11 bowls. Of
Yeah.
just various things.
God
And these are
bless.
he doesn't eat just the sushi part. This isn't him eating like a bunch of sashimi and shit. He eats the carbs, the stuff that they sell to fill you up.
The drunken noodles were good.
Drunken noodles were amazing. They had good basil fried rice.
Yeah.
They had what was it called? Not Moon Dragon. God, what was it called? They had like their specialty dish that was minced chicken. It was like something moon or moon something. Oh my god,
I
it's
don't remember.
driving me crazy. I can't remember
Probably
it.
just East Moon chicken or something.
No, but it was just called we'll never know because they're gone.
It was a really good place to eat, though.
It was a really good place to eat, and we killed them with our fatness. Also, it's important to highlight that like Kevin isn't like a light eater. Like we're fat guys eating fat guy portions,
Yeah.
and Mario still eats us under the table. I can't eat like I used to, thank God, but like I can still put back a few plates. And this man, 11 fucking bowls.
When he was in his prime,
Oh yeah. Oh man.
he could have gone pro.
I still eat a lot, but it's like when you get high. And I
Yeah.
used to get very high. Like man,
Yeah.
I could just keep going.
I remember we went to McDonald's one time, and you had quit smoking, and you're like, I can't eat like I used to, and then like something had happened and you ended up smoking anyway, and this man put down 6 McDoubles.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing. Like it was like, because like I'm like nibbling on my food, eating my nuggies, and I'm like, aha, I'm McDonald's, yay, nuggies. And like by the time I'm done with a regular man's amount of food, he's done with his 6 McDoubles. God damn.
So last week,
I like food.
we had this conversation in real life because after we finished recording, we went to go get something to eat. And this is a grave injustice that the world has done to us. We don't like to talk about the news on here, but I cannot hold back any longer. Why the hell is 2 McDoubles, their deal, why is it $4? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, R.I.P. Dollar Menu, man.
Yeah.
I should be able to hand $10 to a person and be like, I need a bag full of your little baby cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I used to do that.
And you can throw them in your mouth like popcorn.
Yeah, it was dirt cheap, and then... Yeah, okay. So I don't eat like that all the time, but I like to do it also for the spectacle of it, because it just...
When he has to
He gets
flex
some
on
sort of
us.
sick, twisted pleasure just making people like gape at what he's doing.
No one ever believes me.
Yeah.
And when I say, like, when I look at Kevin and Tony and I tell them, like, I can eat more than you, and then anyone looking outside, and before they
Scoffs
knew
audibly.
me, would just be like, no, you can't. And I'd just be like, yes, I fucking can.
A likely story, thin man.
It's funny too because
then
We all can see your
and then I have
jawline.
to
All of
prove
us
it.
have 2 chins. You only have 1. I think not.
yeah, it's an interesting concept because one of the things that helps build charisma is speaking in hyperbole. It makes you seem more friendly and like haha.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty common to have like some random guyo or girlo just be like, oh my god, I can eat so much. And then they nibble a nugget and they're full,
Yeah.
So we hear a man like Mario be like, oh, dude, I could eat way more than you, bro. I mean, and we're like, okay, yeah, sure, kid, whatever. And then he eats us under the table.
Yeah.
Like, triples my plates. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Where does he keep it all?
It doesn't make sense. There's simply not enough of him.
Dude, yeah, like...
His body must burn it like they're shoveling coal into...
And this is one of the reasons I do it. Is
An old
so, like,
steamship like the Titanic that they have to power, and the coal, as soon as the coal
Burns
goes
up
in there,
instantly.
it's gone. You better have the next shovelful ready.
Yeah, see, like, stuff like that. Like, people say shit like that about me, and I'm just like, yes, thank you. Like, I told you.
Yeah,
I used to
This is
cackle
what
to
he
myself.
gets instead of, like, I told you so's, everyone else telling them so.
Back when McDoubles were $1, and I was in high school, and I was much larger than I am now, with muscle. And then I go up to the counter, and I tell them, like, yeah, give me 7 McDoubles, and then, like, just the knee-jerk reaction of, like, some of the people, like, I'm sorry? Like, it's like, no, you heard me correct. 7 McDoubles, please.
Okay, I remember one of, like, the biggest, like, fast food flexes I have done. There was a sweet spot. So, Burger King in the last few years, this is probably over a decade ago now, they got bought by somebody and their food quality plummeted. Like, it became pretty shit. Specifically, their chicken became pretty shit.
It became inedible.
It became basically inedible. And then they did a promotion for a while where you could get 10 nuggies for $1. And I distinctly remember going to someone's house to, like, meet with him and his crew for the basically first time. And as my opening move was to bring 100 nuggets just for anyone to snack on, because that was only $10. That was a very interesting time.
You order those 100 nuggets, you know that inside that Burger King, all the lights are flashing like it's a submarine
Yup.
going down.
Yep. I remember.
We need you on station!
I remember the guy was just so angry with me when I made
Furious.
the order because,
Yeah.
like, you could tell he was waiting. Like, it was inevitable.
He
Like,
definitely said, manager, we can't do this. Someone's going to come and order 100 McNuggets. Or 100 nuggets because they're Burger King.
yeah.
100 Bic Nuggets. and the regional manager whomever said, that is the word from on high. Sell them 10 for $1. And he's like, when this ship goes down because of your orders, it'll be on your head.
You've murdered us. Yeah.
And then Tony rolls in, proving
like
his
high
ass.
as a kite with the stupidest look.